buffed. The same goes to Jinx as a champion who now, can benefit off of the Thresh Lantern.
And hey, having a powerful champion like this, particularly one that's a playmaker, you love to see that for a guy like Akaadian, who has recently been brought up to the main roster, taking the position of Dardoch. He's got to make sure that he's making a statement for himself as well. Great champion to do it on. The response from TSM, picking up Lee Sin and Kalista.
Ooh, now I feel like you have to take away the Thresh. Thresh Kalista is just such an absurd duo to go up against.
Strong.
But okay, well, they're just going straight for what they want to play with, and that's a lot of pressure mid lane. No matter what TSM picks here, Xin Zhao Sylas is just oppressive. And they're going to be hunting for ganks. There's not much TSM can do about it. And having an Ezreal there for Neo, as strong as the champion is also just a safe pick. So now, Akaadian just you can focus on mid and top lane.
And of course, since we are on 11.13 as well, remember that does have the Divine Sunderer nerfs for ranged champions. Instead of 12% HP, it is 9% on those procs. So it's still going to hurt a lot if he's got the Muramana, if he's got the Sunderer, if he's attacking you from a position of strength. But it'll be at least a little bit more reasonable.
But that's a good point to hit here, because going up against the Kalista, you would want to at least have something to fight back with. The Varus has been the consistent one. But especially after a nerf to your core item as an Ezreal, we've seen some teams that have gone Ezreal over Varus. Other teams love the priority that Varus gives them, and of course the poke that is a nice thing to have in your back pocket in your composition. So I'm not the biggest fan of the Ezreal. Stylistically, it makes sense here for Dignitas that wants to put power in their solo lanes and sees that's where the meta is going. But that's going to be a show for Lost and SwordArt in the bot lane.
Well, we do have the Nautilus locked in here for TSM as the companion to Kalista there in the bottom lane. We know how effective she is when she has these powerful meatball supports that she can throw into the fight. They can choose exactly when and how they want to go in, follow it up with a chain of CC. Very scary stuff. Let's see how the bans are going to look here as TSM is trying to take away a couple of those big tanky supports. Leona and Braum both banned away from Aphromoo. That Thresh still on the table. And we've got Azir banned out by Dignitas, respecting PowerOfEvil, respecting that control mage reputation. Let's see if they want to continue to focus on that, or if they want to switch it up a little bit here. We know that Lee Sin can be flexed around a little bit. We know where Kalista and Nautilus are going.
LeBlanc is also a safe option there as well. If having that blink so you can make the lane a little easier for you. So that is an option with the Gwen being banned. But these are great support bans from TSM. Braum and Leona work incredibly well with Ezreal. I do not think that the Thresh, it doesn't really provide you much within the lane. You're already a safe pick on the Ezreal, so having the Lantern is kind of a bit redundant. LeBlanc's going to get picked out here. So I wonder what the pick is going to be here for Aphromoo, knowing that I think Dig's best draft here will be to play towards topside and just put yourself on an island. Ezreal, Alistar.
Okay. This is one of the solo queue classics here. Alistar goes off. He can pull a helicopter if he wants to. Level 2, see you later. Have fun farming underneath the turret. I'm going other places.
True. And honestly, this kind of brings me back season 4, around there where, back when lane swapping meta was real, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you can just avoid the weakest part of Ezreal Alistar, which is the literal laning phase, and just say, you know what, in the mid game, Alistar ultimate, Ezreal poke once he actually has his items, incredibly powerful. So it's going to be on Neo and Aphromoo to kind of play it safe, not lose too much in lane. But I mean, if you're TSM here, you are hunting for it.
And the final pick of the draft does end up being the Gnar, locked in against the Renekton there, drafted by Dignitas. So FakeGod on Renekton, Huni on Gnar. And then we'll get to see that Lee Sin in the jungle. So Spica on Lee versus Akaadian on Xin Zhao. Two very powerful early playmakers here, my friend.
Very true. And guess who I like, in terms of the draft? Make that guess.
Who you got?
TSM.
TSM.
TSM, I like the counter pick going Gnar into the range that you have, the advantage. We've seen this matchup multiple times in the spring split. It's just better for the Gnar pick.
Yep.
And then bottom lane, there's so much pressure there from the Kalista and Nautilus. I just expect Lost and SwordArt to run away with this advantage. And you have an incredibly deadly and mobile duo in the mid lane of the LeBlanc and Lee Sin. This actually cast my mind back a little bit, 2020 spring split, when you saw this pretty consistently. And if it's a snowballing matchup. So if Lee Sin and LeBlanc gets the first kill, or even just has the ability to not just get duked by, just get straight destroyed by the Xin Zhao early, They're going to go straight bot lane. They're going to try and set up for a dive. It's going to be a proactive look on TSM.
Yeah, and that's something that I wanted to bring up because earlier on in the draft, you pointed out, hey, when you've got Xin Zhao and you've got Sylas, this is a very powerful 2v2 that these two are able to operate together around that mid lane. Now they're up against another powerful 2v2 that has even more mobility with the Lee Sin, with that LeBlanc. So I expect, honestly, both of these duos to be making a lot of moves this game.
It's going to be good getting into this game. I really want to see this because, you know, watching the LEC this morning, it was like a sneak peek into what this meta would look like with LeBlanc being seen as such a strong pick. Jizuke in the preview, just on the analyst desk, talking about how strong it is. I know the mage items being changed, so like she just benefits a lot from it. But that being said, the Sylas Xin Zhao, as you mentioned, was what Dignitas was just straight gunning for.
Yep.
So they want to make this a scrappy game around them, and they have a lot of tools to do that. Sylas, Xin Zhao, Renekton, if he TPs, of course, will have the lockdown from his own W. And then, of course, Alistar is going to be looking for plays. He has Ignite this time around, so it is definitely difficult to go exhaust versus Kalista. She can literally choose whenever the hell she wants to use Rend. So I think the Ignite option is smart. But I expect Alistar to be fighting around the Sylas this game.
And a reminder to everybody watching at home, today's featured Pro View matchup for this third game of the day is Akaadian versus Spica. If you have ever been spam pinged for not ganking, or perhaps even called an herbivore in the jungle, well, now you can watch two of the most carnivorous champions in the early game go to work.
And you just saw what is the greatest preview of a lifetime. Basically, Sylas using that Kalista passive that if he ever gets that Kalista ultimate, throw the Xin Zhao at them.
Yup. You thought he was hard to get away from when he's just running at you. What about when Sylas just pulls him back and tosses him in?
That's going to be a fun way of engaging a fight. That's something that I want to look forward to. But yeah, aggression. Spica going up against Akaadian. And just looking at Spica's time this split, I know there's been a lot of moving pieces here from TSM in their times past, right? But Spica's been the one that's kind of remained consistent. He's been on this team longer than both of these the rest of the team. But he's been on there the longest. Now it seems like just watching TSM content, incredibly confident in what he wants, calling for what he wants, and it's turned into what is consistent advantages for him. Yeah. They're a team that plays through jungle and plays really well, but Huni's been getting a pretty damn good advantage topside versus FakeGod.
Oh, yeah, just absolutely walking up unafraid as Gnar because of the fact that he had the level 2 versus level 1 advantage, so FakeGod takes a couple of lumps off of that one, and Huni will just continue maintaining this priority, maintaining this control. Back here in the mid lane, PowerOfEvil just now hitting level 3. Again, we will be keeping close eyes on both these mid laners, particularly how they interact with their junglers.
Take a look at the minimap.
Oh, what do we got,
Xin Zhao has ducked his blue side jungle completely for this play.
Okay, here we go. Akaadian coming around from the side. Huni decides to jump back here into the brushes. Double flash to follow. See ya later. First blood over to Akaadian.
There it is. Took basically his 2 camps on red side, directly went top lane after taking his Gromp, and they're doubling down.
They're going in. Let's see. Oh, Spica's able to safeguard over back to the minion. Huni did teleport in there, so it would have been a full honest-to-God 2v2, but Spica was pretty isolated from his teammate there. Had to make sure that he got out as quickly as possible.
Yes, and that means that he's lost flash for that entire play. Taking a look at this, though, Spica, of course, going to be going for top scuttle. I think he's going to be able to get an angle on bot scuttle as well with how Lost and SwordArt have been playing their lanes. This is going to be a scrap. Akaadians recognize this.
Okay, he's already got himself the crab here, so Spica's picked that one up. Akaadian not in a position to do much else here. Yusui stuck underneath the turret, very low mana, under half HP, not really in a condition to fight. They know this on the side of TSM. Spica's jumping in. Aphromoo's made a rotation, a roam up to the mid lane now as well. And seeing this, TSM have to back away.
All right, and that does give an angle for Akaadian to go for bot scuttle, but Spica and PowerOfEvil will not let that go by.
Ooh, nicely done there from Aphromoo, headbutting into a minion to dodge away from the dredge line.
This is not going to work out for Akaadian. So him starting up on blue, he recognized very late that he needed to be on top scuttle. Otherwise, he's not going to have access to go on bot scuttle for that very reason of Kalista and Nautilus. So this is Spica getting a really early advantage. Sure, you made that cheese play happen topside, get the kill, that's great, right? But then realizing that he was now going to be a little bit further behind based off that, it's going to suck.
Yeah, I don't even want to call it cheese. I like the fact that he went for that very bloodthirsty pathing early on, but yeah, as you pointed out, man, as soon as he didn't immediately want to go for the crab afterwards, that crab is gone. It is a double crab dinner here for Mr. Spica early on, so not feeling the pain of that enemy first blood as much as he otherwise would. Both our supports have made their way back down into the bottom lane here. And remember, what we are sort of expecting as this goes further forward is Neo to sort of be left to his own devices, farm up underneath the turret, as Aphromoo is unlocked to roam around and make more plays on this Alistar that we want to see be a facilitator for DIG.
And it's going to be difficult knowing that he's going up against, once again, a pretty mobile lineup. The dash that Huni has, it's going to be helping him out a little bit here in this lane, getting chunked out. But then, of course, LeBlanc, Xin, generally pretty difficult finding that key engage, but it will be important as the game goes on and locking down the Kalista herself. But from TSM's perspective, they've done a good enough job actually solidifying an advantage for PowerOfEvil. And I think that's the core part of their early games. Whenever you see Xin LeBlanc games versus, like, you know, anything that's just generally volatile, it will just be a scrap in the mid lane for any edge. And then once the edge is secured, the side lane's going to have to pay for it. So it's up to them who they choose. And I do think that, you know, Xin LeBlanc wants to try and make a play with SwordArt bot side. So right now it hasn't been secured, but very close to that point.
FakeGod up here clearing out some vision as Spica is ready to potentially make the play here. Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike. FakeGod continues to walk away. He's got Akaadian coming in right behind him. The Croc is buying it a lot of time, but Akaadian cannot close the distance to get in there just yet. The stab over the wall. Will wind become lightning? Not just yet.
He's looking for it.
He's walking away. Akaadian has no flash. He's jumping in onto Spica now. 3-talent strike. It doesn't work, and they get away. But now in the bottom lane, the action's not done. Aphromoo forced to flash out as they continue the chase. Lost already has level 6. He's ready to go with the ulti. TSM is on the hunt, and Aphromoo's on the menu.
Easy kill. Hitting 6, Lost is able to just chase him down in easy pickings towards a flashless Alistar. Looking to try and make this more, but I think Ezreal should be able to get out of this pretty cleanly. He's just going to lose experience, of course. So it's getting worse from Dignitas' bot side of the map. Meanwhile, yeah, I mean, that top side, it's just going to be hard for Huni. No ability. He was exhausted, so he wasn't going to get anywhere near Gnar. Getting chunked out, being pushed off, was so close to being a kill for Akaadian, and I think they needed that in the top side to really kind of focus on that top side of the map, the advantage they were looking for the Renekton.
Okay, second round of the buffs are spawning now, so Akaadian will grab himself his red. Always feels bad as the jungler when the enemy AD carry is higher level than you, so level 6 Kalista versus level 5 Xin. Not the greatest feeling in the world, but hey, at least Xin's still only level 5 here as well. Very slight gold lead in the favor of TSM, and thank you very much to the people behind the scenes bringing up the XP per level. You can see it right here. It's Yusui, the only man on the map, level 7 already, with all of the other solo laners hot on his heels, and Lost just right behind him. But now in the bottom lane, Neo's got to flash out, and Aphromoo's in a bad spot. They will continue to run away and look to disengage. More damage coming out now from Kalista, but the True Shot Barrage does a lot in return. Akaadian joining the fight means things are looking awfully good here for the side of Dignitas. Neo walks away. He stays alive. TSM have bit off more than they can chew. Akaadian finds a double, and he's looking to make it even more. He walks away to barely survive the rend. The auto attack from Neo is not enough. Aphromoo goes in for the play, but Neo will also just barely not be able to follow it up, baby. Lost is walking out. What a scrap down here in bottom lane.
What an insane counter gank there from Akaadian too. Comes in at the perfect time. SwordArt thought he could nail a kill for his team with just that auto attack stun, but man, just beautiful. And that comes out to a 3-kill Xin Zhao early in this game. And that's something, that life and blood they're looking for to start something going, to help out Yusui, who's the highest level in the game, as you mentioned, right? The highest experienced person in the game. And that's beautiful for Dignitas.
And Akaadian's got a lot of ability to decide whatever he wants to do next. Let's take another look at how this started off. TSM was coming in with the Goon Squad.
Yeah, and so, you know, they threw a lot onto Neo at the same time, so he was able to actually just blink out and kind of duck out on what was the Q from Xin, who was could have held on to it. But then Spica thinks he can get the kill on towards him.
Oh,
so close. Chugging a potion, Neo was. And Akaadian in the meantime was just running rampant, actually. And also the passive has been helping him out throughout that, so he was able to just sustain on a hair's breadth. 2 instances where TSM could have been able to get kills there.
Well, it's about time for some more instances with kills, my friend. The Rift Herald has been started up by... Oh, man, did I curse it? Go back and fight! No! All 10 of y'all are here. Go hit each other. Okay, never mind. All right, well, Dignitas just get themselves a Herald for free. Akaadian's got that one now, too. So 3 kills here on a powerful early game tempo-style jungler. Has the Herald ready to use now as well to get that money from the plates. Things are looking all right here for Dignitas.
Yeah, it sucks for TSM. We did miss the setup there. Dignitas is definitely stronger right now at this iteration of the game. And TSM, if they recognize that, should have just actually kept Kalista and Nautilus down bot lane. Could have actually isolated Neo in that situation, looked for a gank, probably got in a teleport from Yusui, all these things, instead of just setting up for an objective that they were never going to be able to fight for. So that burns. That's why the context is pretty important. But man, yeah, let's see if anything can happen here for TSM to at least get something back in their court.
All right, well, they're going after the first Drake of the game very, very late. First Drake, 10.5 minutes in, means even if they stack all 4 back-to-back-to-back-to-back, it's not an incredibly early soul.
Yeah. But
hey, they've got it on the board. They've got a neutral objective to answer the Herald taken by their opponents. And now Huni is likely to be the target here yet again. Akaadian, oh, they see him. They know what's going on.
And honestly, it was never going to work out. He has Mega Gnar.
Yeah, it's like, you kind of have to wait till he turns tiny again before you can try to dive him. Nice little bit of damage coming out there from PowerOfEvil back here in mid. Yusui below half HP, but remember that he can always fix that very swiftly with the power of the Kingslayer. Spica's down here in bottom side yet again. Jumping in onto Aphromoo, forces out the headbutt for the disengage. Nothing else to have happen.
But at least the result of this for TSM has been secured vision on the bot side of the map. Like, just being able to just point this out quickly. Oh, actually, let's see what's happening here. Just making sure, guys. I think Huni's quite safe, but this is just annoying.
He flashed away. I think he's pretty good here, but his turret's not singing the same song.
Main point being made here is if you look at the bot side of the map, like the entrances to the red side jungle, everything is securely there for TSM. Great control wards in line bush mid lane. And also just like the fact that they're able to have double control wards in the bot side of the map as well, in the tri-bush and the bush behind that. So they just don't know where Spica is.
And now we're going to see the Rift Herald get off the second charge. You always love to see that when you're trying to use it for just the first turret. You get some bonus damage on the second one. Feels good for the side of Dig. FakeGod will continue maintaining this control over here in the top side as Huni just uses the Gnar ulti there. Clear away the wave, get himself a little bit of extra control back. Yusui is still stuck underneath the tier 1 turret. PowerOfEvil going in for a lot of damage, but he's gone too far. He has to flash over the wall to get away from Akaadian, who does not have a flash to follow. Nearly finding the kill onto Yusui, but nearly is not enough for the TSM mid laner. But the bottom lane grabs the tier 1 turret. That's going to be the response to Dig's tier 1 turret in the top side, and the gold again, Raz, dead even.
Yeah, and you know what? Very close mid lane. Like, both of those mid laners knew that LeBlanc had lethal there to get the kill. A flash was expended from Yusui's side, but he almost got the hit back. But in the end of the day, I still like this for TSM. Because now they have great control over the next Drake, of course Drake being some time from now, but at least they're playing to what is their identity. Around Kalista, around the LeBlanc, and they're just playing around them to get as much gold in them as possible. And they have early advantages. 87 CS towards Neo, of course, has been denied consistently away from waves, while the 117 to the Kalista and the same, you can look at the mid lane advantages there. So just 2 of your carries are strong for TSM.
And hey, Immortal Shield Bow just now completed for Lost as well. Very important in these team fights if he's going to be focused by multiple people. A Renekton, a Xin, a Sylas all diving towards you. That shield can be the difference between life and death. Still 2 minutes before our next Drake spawns. First one was Ocean. This one's Mountain. Means we either get Infernal Soul or Cloud Soul this time around. So I'm sure TSM's hoping for the Infernal Soul here with their focus on the bottom side of the map and stacking some dragons. But we'll see how that one plays out just shy of 2 minutes from now. Huni is still just left up here in the top lane, farming things up. He has fallen behind a little bit in terms of farm, but honestly, not terribly so.
Yeah, especially if he's just on weak side. If he's just recognizing his position, keeping himself to like just that one death, what happened really early on. I mean, he's been doing a good job, all considering, especially with the Rift Herald being pushed up topside, all of these things that he's played safe at. Now he's ready for fights like these. Let's see if something does spur up here.
Okay, we're still ready to go. Both of our junglers have their gore drinkers. Extra drain tanking is locked and loaded as Dignitas move forward, looking to steal away The TSM red buff. Control wards in the brush from both teams. Nicely done there with the execution damage from Spica to make sure they can't steal it away. And that just means Dignitas has nothing else to fight for here. Stolen Nautilus ulti finds PowerOfEvil, but doesn't do much more than that. Dredge line going all the way downtown. Aphromoo has to flash over the wall to stay alive.
That's a pretty crucial flash. No flash on your Alistar 50 seconds before the Dragon. It's going to be pretty important. Both teams wanted to fight for that crucial objective, but didn't want to use any big resources there. So I thought overall it worked out for both sides, but now no a flash on towards Aphromoo. And having no control over this space, it looks like it's going to be a second Drake towards TSM. One thing you have to learn when you're going up against the LeBlanc, people are going to have to relearn this, man. Remember way back FlyQuest versus C9, this split, huge LeBlanc, Goomba stomp you. And a lot of that comes off with great vision control. If you have secured vision, and if you're trying to fight into that, LeBlanc is going to be able to get one rotation on you before you can react.
Very, very difficult stuff to deal with. Fortunately for the side of Dignitas, PowerOfEvil still 0-0-0. Has not been involved in any kills so far. Of course, TSM does only have the one, but they do have control over this bottom side river. Dignitas not willing to just let this one go quietly without a fight. They want to stand and make some sort of an effort for it. TSM still with a 4-man squad. Huni is walking down. They'll trade skill shots back and forth. Nice true shot barrage on multiple players there from TSM. As Dignitas making sure they're maintaining this aggro, man. They've got this control over the bottom side river.
This changes things drastically. Here we go.
All right, Aphromoo's the one to start off the fight, and Huni's going to be locked down a little bit. He's about to transform into the Mega Gnar. They've got to be careful. Aphromoo, he's yeeted back over the wall, but the damage continues pouring through. Huni is the first to die, and Dignitas look for even more. Lost throws his ally back over the wall to keep him safe, and has to flash to follow him. Dignitas get themselves a 1-for-0, and they earn themselves control over this river.
Aphromoo bought so much time. Even with the Mega Gnar popping for Huni, it wasn't enough. He goes down. What a great play for Dignitas to patiently just wrestle control away from TSM. All the vision was there, but just using double TP to get control of the line bush and then forcing TSM out because they didn't have Huni there. It was really smart from Dignitas to go all in there, and they were willing to fight around the Xin Zhao Alistar.
And let's take another look at how it happened right here. It looked like it might have started back there, but no, they had enough patience. It goes down towards the blue buff, and then right here on this ramp.
Yeah, it took time because TSM recognized they're not going to get control of the ramp that was warded, so they try and go through here, which is the blue buff area. Problem is, this is just a perfect engage here from Aphromoo. It's all going to be on Huni. The concern is always going to be what happens when Mega Gnar procs. He walks away from the wallop from Huni. The kick is unfortunate because maybe you can finish off Aphro, but in general, this is just an instantly one team fight from Dignitas, regardless of that kick. So this was just going to be a scrappy composition, a snowballing composition from Dignitas, and it looks like they're the ones that are coming out spiraling ahead.
Ooh, look at that damage on the kill leader on Dignitas. Over 2,000 done by Xin there in a team fight. I like how the old reputation for this champion was by the time you load into the game, you're already being outscaled. But now with the current state of him, after those buffs to the charge and the stab on the spear, and how the new items allow him to have more of a build that remains relevant while still being good early on, it just feels like, man, he's got everything he needs to be able to carry a game. Especially
going up against the Kalista that does have short range, and if she's trying to actually get a proper fight off, she's going to be face-to-face with a Xin Zhao that is definitely going to kill her. So it feels like an unplayable game here for Lost. And so the decision to just split side, it's a smart one. And they have some time having taken the first Drake. Like you said, this is going to be a longer game because TSM was able to take the first Drake, and the first Drake was taken so late. So Soul is going to be delayed for some time. It is going to be an Infernal Soul, so it's still going to be very impactful, which is going to suck for TSM.
Lots of high damage champions here on both squads. Also worth pointing out, though, you're talking about the difficulties that Lost will have dealing with the Fed Xin Zhao. Lost has built himself up easily the most impressive farm lead of the entire game. 40 CS ahead of his opponent in Neo. So this Kalista has the opportunity to really make some highlight plays here in the team fight if properly protected, if properly peeled for. But that is a team effort, my friends. Next Drake, not for 2.5 minutes. PowerOfEvil doing a little bit of poke over the wall. SwordArt can walk away.
Absolutely. Never underestimate, A, just stronger micro if you end up having a good team fight like that, and B, just picking your composition. The Nautilus, the Kalista, even the LeBlanc, all of them can say, oh, we're in a disadvantage, that's fine. Like, we had a really good look onto somebody that was out of position, and now it's a good team fight for us.
Okay, PowerOfEvil again, just trying to throw out these spells, land any poke onto anyone, but not a lot landing just yet. Neo's having the free time to take a couple shots at the turret. Aphromoo being careful, trying to walk it off, but with the chain proccing, he's forced to use the ulti to get away.
Yeah.
Sonic Wave hit, but a resonating strike would just be his own death sentence, so Spica does not want that one.
A really sticky composition, so the ultimate from the Alistar was definitely needed, and it was on the roam timer of Huni. Came in at the perfect time, so now they're going to be able to get this, and a second run in towards the inner turret.
Yep. Shelly will just rear back, slam her head into the tier 2. Easy damage onto that one. Takes about 75% of the HP off. Teleport was used. TSM sending people up there into the top lane now to make sure they got these side waves under control.
One thing to take note of as we're generally getting bases across, I mean, just the overall vision, we'll probably get one more base before Dragon comes up in a minute 20, is just that I'm impressed in Dignitas. Like, the change that they made in Dardoch, people called him like the strongest member within that team. You know, we'll have to table that for a little bit.
Okay. Akaadian's already jumping in. He's ready to go. SwordArt's the target, and he's down to almost nothing, but Lost can keep him alive. You've always got to remember that when you're up against Kalista.
Yes, and you know what? A scrappy team can do that with your basic abilities, and they forced the Kalista ultimate less than a minute before the Dragon. If they had any thought of taking it or looking for it, they ain't going to do it now.
Much more difficult at the very least, as Huni will shove out the bottom lane. TSM regrouping, shopping up a little bit. Dignitas now at what I believe is the largest gold lead the whole game at about 1,500.
And going back to what impressed me with Dignitas is that they have focus within their games. And let's see if this, it shouldn't turn into anything, but they really want this fight.
No, it's looking like we might get that 2v2 scrap after all. Yusui's going in, lands E2. Akaadian's hot in pursuit. Wind becomes lightning, finds a couple of targets, but with SwordArt joining the mix, they can't go any further.
I'm not a fan of this from Dignitas. Literally, second Dragon is coming up. You should just be focusing on that. I understand, like, you know, playing defensively so Yusui doesn't get picked on this wave. But let's make that long journey back towards the Drake and get this game back on track. The point I was about to make is the fact that I think that they've been really focused on the objectives, contesting blues, reds consistently.
Yeah.
Making it so TSM have to be on their toes, putting vision in their own jungle just so they can fight for their own camps. Here, great blue buff take from Huni because he recognizes that's just not theirs anymore.
Right. I mean, blue buff's not the most useful thing in the world on Gnar, but hey, it's better than giving it away to your opponent, right?
Yes.
You take what you can get, and Dignitas will take that next Drake here. That'll bring them up to 2 in this game. Doesn't look like there's any sort of a contest for this. There's no globals to steal it away on the side of TSM, so easy pickup there for Dig.
And now the next step, as everyone's basing, it's literally Baron. Because of how late this game has gone into, where Sol really, especially if Dignitas is feeling this confident, just start layering vision in the top side of the map in enemy red side jungle. There's a few warriors that you can take out, a few stragglers. Good ward that's actually been placed there from SwordArt, just so if they end up starting Baron, you get some vision in it. It's sometimes, you know, the last place you want to clear out, or at least like you last place you check. So yeah, they are understanding what the next play is going to be from Dignitas. So Dignitas, layer down wards in the enemy red side jungle, start playing with Baron and luring TSM towards you so you can get that one big team fight.
Okay, Yusui here on the Sylas, making sure that he's shoving out those side waves here. Has his stopwatch in inventory. Very, very important item here for the Sylas in the middle of one of these chaotic team fights. You can see PowerOfEvil still roaming around on his own. He knows how mobile his champion is. It's so easy to get out no matter how many people collapse on you, so he can just continue to prowl around, look for these opportunities. He won't find anyone just yet, but he's always looking.
Hunting for a mistake. I think it's a good decision to make overall. And of course, getting solidified, an idea of what they're trying to do, right? Getting a timer on it. Even though you know that they're going to be trying to clear out the vision topside, at least you have a good idea exactly. So feed that information to Huni so he can start pressuring bot side. Now TSM's already on the first move here. Let's see if they can find something mid.
They're doing a lot of damage to the tier 2, and SwordArt's coming around from the side. PowerOfEvil jumps in after Neo, but he's able to shift out of trouble rather easily. TSM, they put themselves in a spot to make a play if it presented itself, but it did not. Huni now looking to set him up for something else here in the bottom. So, ooh, FakeGod with a very cautious Dominus.
Yeah, like, there's no way they're following up with any of that. They just used everything they could. So the Dominus, as you said, really you know, I think he was worried about what was in Fog. So maybe like, oh,
how many are they following up with?
Exactly. But just wait for them to do something. But in the end, TSM playing really well around the tempo they had mentioned that they have, put vision in the red side jungle, and they started pressuring it. So like, that's nice from them. I want to see what Dignitas can do with the advantage that they had. They had Sylas up top lane, just getting the full solo XP there. So he's now just in a really good spot, got himself the Cosmic Drive, and a nice stopwatch to boot for the next fight.
Yeah, that Cosmic Drive giving him the extra CDR, a little bit of extra speed there as well is going to mean any sort of downtime that you leave him alive is just that much faster. The Kingslayer's ready to go and he can hop right back into the fight. And that is what Dignitas will want to see from Yusui as we continue marching forward here. Honestly, 5 kills in 25 minutes, not the bloodiest game, not the most action-packed one. Dignitas seeming pretty confident here up against TSM, still maintaining around the same amount of a gold lead. It's not like this is passively building up and snowballing more and more. So we will need to see more playmaking out of them if they want to continue finding a stronger position in this game.
But I think that's a good thing for Dignitas, to take what is a nice small advantage and then just start snowballing it. This is what great teams do, and they have to be comfortable with it, right? Okay. This is what we expect from Team Liquid. Oh, he's going to be fine, but that's a TP coming in.
Yeah, Yusui getting caught out of position a little bit there. Did have to use the stopwatch. Cost a TP for backup. Dignitas are there. They keep their man alive. And now they will be able to clear out some of this vision here. Knock down that control ward on your way out. But if you're Yusui, you got to be looking out for those situations. That's a stopwatch. You don't get that one back. That's not a cooldown.
I think this is not going to be the best start here. Dignitas going onto this Baron is a hard 50-50. TSM can try and push you off of it. Let's see what they end up going for now.
Okay, well, they got the TP, right?
There it is.
Freebie there for Dignitas. You get Huni's TP. That makes up for the one that FakeGod had to use coming in to help Yusui there in the enemy jungle. And now it looks like Dignitas are ready to go. Aphromoo with a flash engage. They're looking for Huni. He's nowhere near Gnar. He's already dead. Dignitas with a good pick.
There it is. Dignitas are just consistently playing it step by step. The one about Baron, as you said, got the TP from Huni and then found a pick off of what has been a great engage from Aphromoo. Another one.
And they're doing it again. Spica face checks the brush, and they're just waiting on him, baby. It's Aphromoo.
No Dardog, no problem. Aphromoo is the new captain of this ship, and he's right in the ways. It was an advantage start from Akaadian, but he is giving it to them again and again. No jungler, straight towards the Baron.
Support is so easy, bro. You just got to have that presence. You just got to have that pressure, that read on the game on where they're going to face check. Aphromoo doing some good work here for the side of Dig, who now have a 5v3 on the map. Remember that even though Huni is just now coming back to life, he has no teleport. They only got that earlier with their previous Baron attempt that faded it out. So Dignitas, with those last 2 picks, have earned themselves a Baron at 27 minutes.
And it's only going to get worse for TSM. Sterix is going to be built up from Akaadian. And overall, this is a good decision from Dignitas to full base on this. Say, screw it, I don't give a damn that they get second Dragon for themselves. We just got Baron. The worst thing we can do is dart from Baron to Dragon with all the gold that we have and allow TSM to have a fight in their terms.
Yeah, for a level 1 Infernal Drake when it's 1-2 in count, it doesn't mean a thing. Let's take another look at how this initial pick happened here with Aphromoo pressing the go button.
He sees it on towards Huni. He does not have much rage in that bar, so they can just try and get a pick on him as soon as possible. SwordArt was in a position thinking maybe there's an opportunity for Flash, but he knows that's a lost fight instantly. And so overall, great stuff. And yeah, he gets, oh my goodness. He didn't see him.
Yup. Can't be there, man. You can't be there.
No vision on the cow. He's invisible.
You cannot be walking into the brushes like that. He learns it the hard way. Dignitas with a 6-1 lead, 3,500 gold, and Baron here for the next 2 minutes. They still have plenty of turrets they can knock down. 4 turrets already under their belt means 2 are still standing outside of the base. Those are normally pretty easy to crack once you get that first Baron, so just some extra free gold here for this squad. Or they might just deathball it down top, go after inhibitor turret number 1 and crack the base itself.
Even just taking a step back and like talking about how, you know, TSM is literally the first place team in this league. And Dignitas are coming off of what was, as I said, like 6 losses in 7 games.
Yeah.
A lot of the changes, people questioning them, with Yusui coming in, Akaadian coming in with all the turmoil. But this is just the cleanest game they have given us, all split maybe all season long.
Well, here we go. Let's see if it stays that way. Akaadian losing half HP. Yusui takes a little bit of damage, but he's got the Gnar ulti stolen away. Very powerful team fight tool there. You land an E onto anybody in the middle of them, just slam them all up against the wall. Cannon minions still being kept alive, and Baron Enchanted means it'll continue plinking away at that turret.
There's just no way. I mean, they have a lot of playmaking tools on TSM, but I don't see how they can, maybe the Lee Sin kick, right? You'd have to be concerned about maybe Lee Sin getting a kick on towards a primary target. That's one thing, but Dignitas, the way they're spacing here, it's perfect. I mean, they're not getting an angle. That Lee Sin kick, of course, they were aware of it. And so this is just great focus overall from the members individually. Huge wave coming in the bot lane too, so they can just play the waiting game. They have a lot of time to spend here. 30 seconds left with Baron. They can probably go for one last push on an inhib turret before they actually go for a base and try for the next dragon.
Yep, we'll see if they can get anything else here. That minion wave in the bottom lane will be answered and cleared out rapidly there by PowerOfEvil. But with him showing in the bottom lane, it's Dignitas making a play on the other side. Yusui jumps in, Spica loses 3/4 HP, Aphromoo at death's door as well, but he's an Alistar, that's his job. One more hit onto the inhibitor takes it down. Those cannon minions doing plenty of work here. Dignitas get their first inhib with that Baron.
And it's just TSM trying to find any angle. You're right. Like, they saw the LeBlanc on the top and the bot side wave as it was stacking. It was huge. They needed someone to be able to take care of it. But then, of course, yeah, use that angle. Go straight in. Yusui with a great look on towards Spica, so he had no way to participate. And he's the one that wants to be starting the fight.
Yeah, you just got done saying, I want to see a kick. I want to see a big play coming out of him, but it's denied instantly. Yusui guaranteeing that, has his Zonias now, so he once again will be able to use that stasis here as that big team fighting tool. You can see items being picked up across the board. Randuin's Omen now online for FakeGod makes it that much more difficult for them to kill him, because you know PowerOfEvil's not going to prioritize him.
Yeah.
Everybody else, physical damage.
And that's the thing, if we're just looking across the board, defensive item. Double Negatron Cloak, Akaadian and FakeGod, aware that going for that's just going to make PowerOfEvil's job basically impossible. And then, of course, the Frozen Heart, right? Like we already said, the fact that Lost being on the Kalista, harder job already. So this is just going to be a colossal mess up is needed here from the side of Dignitas to make this one hard. But Spica is the one who's in no man's land.
Spica not in a great spot here yet again. Akaadian and Yusui coming in to stop him, make this even more difficult.
The wave's
Spica
coming.
Continues running away, safeguard to a control ward. Has a blast cone waiting for him. He's trying to bamboozle, but you're not going to bamboozle here in a 1v3, my friend. It was a valiant effort, but that doesn't get you anything here. Yusui picking up his second kill of the game.
Would have been the greatest escape alive.
No, that would have been like everybody on the enemy team's monitor broke. There's the only way you're getting out of there.
He found the one interaction in the game where you can dig yourself a tunnel.
Rek'Sai?
Tunnel system on Lee Sin. Yeah, this is the doomed one, guys. 20 seconds death timer on the Spica allows them to just be able to power through both bot lane, and they already have a wave going straight through mid lane.
Okay, Dignitas are ready to go. Driving it down the bottom side here. 5-man push. Yes, they don't have the Baron any longer. That means that the waves are a bit more vulnerable, but it's really hard to step up and try to clear them out as something like a LeBlanc. It's just not going to happen. FakeGod's going in. PowerOfEvil's hurting. True Barrage from downtown gets Neo the kill. Dignitas continue pushing further forward. Sterix triggers on FakeGod, keeps him alive through the Ren. Dignitas backing away now. Aphromoo is low. Sonic wave on his head, but you cannot resonating strike into an Alistar. And that just means inhibitor number 2, it's Diggs.
How lucky are they feeling? Because sure, one Sterix popped, but you still have another Sterix there and an Alistar ready to go in.
Oh, they are not done yet, my friend. Nexus turrets on the menu, and there they go. Shut down on the AD carry. Follow up on the jungler. He gets back away to the fountain thanks to a Sterix of his own. Dignitas will finally lose a man. Aphromoo drops for the second time this game. 4-man push, still alive for Dig. Still looking to end this game. Nexus at about half HP. True Shot Barrage is up again. TSM fall to pieces, and Dignitas break them.
Man, that's practice paying off for Dignitas. They didn't have a consistent lineup for a time. This was the week where they had it, and you can already see synergy building up amongst the squad.
Awesome stuff from this team. Akaadian in particular, doing what he needed to do early on in the game, coming down for the counterplay in bot lane after TSM wanted to make a move, being responsible for that aggressive early pathing in top for the first blood. Hey, they might have swapped him into the roster recently, but the man is doing his job.
And this has to be a pretty damn hard decision on who's going to get the pog, right? Because player of the game. Between, you're right, Akaadian, insane early game, and he knew exactly what he needed to do. Aphromoo, by the end of it, Anybody have a problem with that?
Oh, yeah.
Headbutt pulverized to my team. I think both of them did an incredible job, but I think this has been a statement game for Akaadian as a player that he was ready for this time.
Yeah, and I love how the fact that the whole team was always ready to go when Aphromoo saw those angles, right?
Yeah.
There was never a moment where you just get, oh, the Alistar's engaging, but we got 2 dudes off clearing waves or somebody's knocking out a ward or something like that. No, no, no. When Aphromoo said go, everybody said let's go. Dignitas played like a machine this game.
Yes, and so like this comes down to, people will talk about the fact that it was a snowball comp, and that does play a little bit to how snowbally it felt, right?
Yes.
It'll happen, but still, for you to be a great team, you need to be able to take those advantages, recognize what the enemy team wants to do to get back into the game, just play a denial game. And they did that every time. You know, red buffs, it's ours. Blue buffs, we're hunting for it. Like, Dragon, not an issue. It felt like they always knew what the next play was going to be. They played it smart, they played it slow, and it's one of those things where you don't expect that from young players. I didn't see that in the spring split. In the spring split, what I saw was just team fight, right? Like,
Send it down.
It was a send-it angle for them in the spring split. This time, I feel like this is them playing a reserved, like, textbook game.
And the votes are in. Our player of the game in this one is Akaadian. Again, we already talked about that a little bit with his involvement there in the top lane. Got things rolling, made it so FakeGod was confident up there in that matchup against Huni, was playing from a position of strength, and then counter-ganking bottom, made it so Neo and Aphromoo were able to transition to the point where they were, even though Neo fell pretty far behind in terms of farm, he hit true shot barrages when he needed to hit them. Akaadian was there to set up for the plays, and Aphromoo just, I mean, you guys saw the plays that man was making. It needs no further explanation.
100% kill participation at 15. He was a part of every play. And that just means that like the team's not making, crazy decisions early on. You're not seeing like hero plays. Neo understands what he needs to do in his job. Aye, Captain, you're getting an advantage topside. Keep doing it.
All right, and now with the game all said and done,